Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got a bunch of hard passes to get to. But before we get to that, let's talk about Devin Booker and his debut signature shoe, the Nike Book 1. I think Booker has a chance to do something that I thought honestly was impossible. But what do I mean by that? We'll get to it later. So, as you probably noticed from our Hard Pass location last week, I was in New York for Nike's World Basketball Festival. It was, by all accounts, a good old Nike basketball event. The kind they used to hold back in the 2010s when they would fly out media outlets and influencers to check out the latest signature product. Was it productive? Yeah, I got to do a lot of stuff that you'll be seeing on socials over the next few weeks. Was it work for Nike? I have no idea. But hey, I always appreciate when I get invited. Anyways, as part of the festivities, we got a chance to check out Nike Basketball's upcoming slate of signature shoes, such as the Nike LeBron 1, the Sabrina 1, and most importantly, the Nike Book 1. The conversation around Nike Book 1 since we got our first look at them through leaks has been mixed. Like all Nike signature shoes when they first appear online. The prevailing thought at the moment is that they are too easy and familiar. We've heard complaints about it being too basic or being too similar to Nike SBs or that Nike needs to fire their whole design team. Actually, that last one is the worst because they're the same ones who would grovel at the feet of Devin Booker if they ever saw him in person and asked for a pair of his kicks. Like, if Nike had presented these as Nike Sportswear or a Nike SB release, no one would be surprised, and honestly, few would care, but because it's a basketball shoe and a debut signature shoe at that, there's more scrutiny. And many would argue that they have every right to be suspicious and hesitant because it's been a long time since a new basketball shoe has excited sneaker culture. The feeling is that basketball shoes have become too specialized and that they really serve no purpose beyond hooping. Now that I say that last one out loud, it's kind of absurd. Today's basketball shoes are no different than runners from Hoka or Salomon or Brooks. Well, yeah, because shoes and the people who design them are focused solely on performance on the court. If they become classics for the streets, that's not on them, that's on the people. It's the culture that dictated the Jordan 1s and Dunks and Air Force 1s are still relevant 40 years later. Jordan 1s and Dunks and Air Force 1s, those are the shoes that Devin Booker wanted to honor with his first signature shoe. Okay, maybe not the Dunks because according to Book, it's Jordan 1s, Blazers, and Air Force 1s, but I think dunk comparisons are going to be inevitable. Old school is in Book's soul, and it shows on his signature shoes. Another point of inspiration was his 1972 Chevy Blazer K5 and his love for casual workmanlike apparel. I don't know about you, but it works for me, man. So what was that impossible thing that I think Book has a chance to pull off? It's the phrase, oh, it's a shoe that works on and off the court. If you've worked in the business of sneakers, you've heard somebody famous utter that line no less than a dozen times. Everybody wants to sell you that their kicks can be worn at home, at school, at the gym, and at night. Some of the greatest basketball players will say that line with their whole chest out and then show you what is no doubt a performance marvel, but far from a casual favorite. Now, I did not hear Devin Booker say that his shoes work just as well off the court as they do on the court. But for the first time in forever, I actually believe him. Especially if they made a panda colorway, he is going to break so many minds if that happens. And I can't wait. All right, let's move on to our pick of the week, and it's the Nike Air Max 1 86 OG Ryder Cup Solheim Cup pack. This is going to be on the 28th for $180. Commemorating the Solheim Cup and Ryder Cup, aka the only team golf events that matter, Nike is taking it back to the origins of the Nike Air Max 1, going with the 1986 Big Bubble style, which I like. Expect these on the feet of Brooks Koepka for Team USA and Rory McIlroy for Team Europe throughout the week. Unlike Nike Golf's, let's say, very loud Los Angeles-inspired Air Max 1 golf for this year's US Open, the Ryder Cup keeps it clean and classy. There's not really much in the way of Ryder Cup branding other than the stars on the swoosh of the Team USA pair, while the toe box on the Team Europe colorway has their stars on the toe box like the EU flag. All right, let's move on to Hard Pass, where we talk about something in the culture that just needs to go. And well, we've got a few things this week we want to talk about. So let's start with the $300 ANTA Kyrie shoes. Yep, you heard that right. Currently, there's no new information about Kyrie Irving's deal with ANTA. We know that he's signed with the brand and that signature product is on the way, but nothing has been announced officially stateside. Well, we did get the official reveal of his logo, and well, I had no idea Kai liked Mortal Kombat. Anyways, that did not stop my eyebrow from raising when I saw an online retailer selling, or maybe reselling ANTA gear tied to Kai. ANKTshop.com, a retailer that specializes in selling ANTA products to U.S. customers since the brand themselves doesn't sell directly to the U.S., are already offering up a handful of products with Kyrie connections. There's a Tribe Hella t-shirt that he wore to his basketball camp, but it's not ANTA branded, basic ANTA shirts and basketballs that Kai has worn or touched, and the terrain sneaker that Kai wore for his introduction to the brand. But the item that caught some people off is the ANTA Shockwave 5 Pro, the first hooping shoe that Kyrie Irving has worn as an ANTA athlete. Those are priced at $300. Now, according to friend of the program, Nightwing, the Pros are made for indoor play, while the base model Shockwave 5s, which come with a lower price tag, are made for outdoors. In his review of the Shockwave 5, which you should definitely check out if you're interested in giving these a go for your next gym run, he's happy that Kyrie is signing with ANTA. His take is that the brand makes solid, well-performing basketball shoes that don't sell here in the United States. Sorry, Klay Thompson. The hope is that with Kyrie on board, ANTA will be able to use him as a Trojan horse of sorts to enter the US market in a big way. Considering how popular Kyrie's Nike product was, the potential is there for ANTA, but not if they price them out of the reach for most consumers. Now, it should be noted that ANKTshop.com is not the same as ANTA proper, and that they could just be a little too excited to mark up the Shockwave 5 Pros in order to capitalize on the Kyrie hype. A quick scan of Klay Thompson's official website reveals a web store that sells his ANTA signature shoes, and the highest price pair of his latest model, the KT8, is $180. See? Nothing. Wait, $180? Huh. Let's see. I mean, $180 is less than $300 if my math is mathing correctly, but it's still not equal to or less than $140, which is the highest Kyrie's Nikes ever retailed for. Everybody likes to talk about how popular Nike Kyries were, but one of the reasons that happened is because they were reasonably priced compared to LeBron's, KD's, and Kobe's. Price the Kyrie 3 at $180, they would be sitting on shelves for months, waiting for the $200 Nike Kyrie 4s to join them. So while we should take those $300 ANTA Shockwave 5 Pros tangentially related to Kyrie with a grain of salt, the clock is ticking. Will the signature ANTA Kyrie product drop at a price point that kids and their parents can appreciate, meaning between $100 and $140? Or will they want to be seen as a top shelf premium product where $300 might not be out of the question? Look, I don't know, but I guess I can't wait to see what the future holds. Turning our attention now to some more trivial things, the fourth season of Harley Quinn. That's right, Harley Quinn, as in the hit adult animated show on Max, or more specifically the HBO tab on the Max app that I quickly tap on. They just finished season 4 of what I would say is the best thing going right now when it comes to DC Comics related properties. Yes, DC does more than just dark, brooding, self-serious dramas with a dollop of nihilism. It could do dark, brooding, self-serious dramas and proceed defeated to King Shark and his adorable shark babies. I mean, I had no idea that the fandom had turned Harley Quinn into an icon ever since I first saw her in the 90s Batman animated series. But she has apparently grown in stature so much so in the preceding years that she was basically the lead of 2 Suicide Squad movies, one of which was good and a solo movie which was underrated. So when I first saw that they were giving Harley her own animated show on HBO, I was mildly interested. Not so much that I watched it right away, but I kept track of it to see how people I knew and trusted reacted to it. And to my surprise, the buzz was good. It wasn't just a Batman cartoon with the Harley being an anti-hero skin plastered on top. It was more than that. It's a sitcom that just so happens to take place in the worst place in the world, Gotham City. Heroes and villains that you've known for decades get the piss taken out of them and given roles that you did not think they were capable of because they were so one note in the comics and other adaptations. Yeah, the internet likes to frame Harley and Poison Ivy as the definition of relationship goals, but you also get to see them go through growing pains of loving each other but not necessarily feeling the need to be madly in love with each other all the time. Like, I did not know I could ever love an impression of Tom Hardy's stupid vain voice from The Dark Knight Rises, but not only do I love it, I demand he get his own spinoff like Kite Man is getting. You heard me. Kite Man, the textbook definition of a himbo, is getting his own show. He was that good. Joker gets to fulfill his potential in ways that I did not see coming. Batman is seemingly sick of all of this, but can't seem to let go. And Clayface? Well, Clayface falls in love with his own sentient ass. If I haven't sold you on watching the first 3 seasons with that, then maybe this will.
Got something I want to show you. Hey, boys!
That's not that's just a picture of you. I'm not even on the poster. Where's the 50 and 50?
What are you talking about? That's you right there.
No, that is a shadow. I was born there, but that's not me.
If that kind of super specific humor doesn't appeal to you, then go watch My Adventures with Superman, which is the diametric opposite of this show, but also the best interpretation of Superman since Injustice and the few cameos he makes in Harley. So, why the hard pass on season 4? Was it bad? Did it fall off a cliff? No, not yet, but you can start to see the signs. Season 4 is well worth watching to see how Harley and Ivy continue to keep their relationship in check as their career ambitions diverge. But in doing so, some characters that we have grown to appreciate get sidelined, and the surprises that get thrown in at us don't follow through on their promise or are on hold until season 5. It also doesn't help that there's a writer strike going on right now, so the payoff to some of those dangling threads won't be resolved until late 2024 or 2025 at the earliest. But the biggest problem that Harley Quinn might be facing moving forward is the same problem that The Simpsons has faced since the late 90s. The jokes stop hitting. Thanks to the format of animation and the batshit world that we've established, the show will be able to pull multiple swerves and character realignments that you won't see coming for a while, but eventually it's diminishing returns. There's only so many times they can threaten to break Harley and Ivy up, or the Joker or some other villain concocts a scheme to fix or break Gotham. They've already played the dark side card and it was damn funny, but how many more things can that escalate to? The last thing anybody wants is years from now, Harley's quietly humming along on whatever streaming service it's on, and a lapsed fan comes across it and says, oh wow, that show's still going? I stopped after season 4. I was saying that about The Simpsons before the millennium hit. Speaking of things having too much time, here's one that I didn't get enough of. Winning Time, another great show on HBO tab of the Max app. This fantastical retelling of the 1980s Los Angeles Lakers was canceled after 2 seasons due to low ratings. As a Los Angeles native who grew up in the era of Showtime, I was hyped to see how the story of my favorite team would be presented with the backing of HBO, the television gold standard. And from a production standpoint, you could tell that they spared no expense. The basketball scenes, which are so notoriously difficult for Hollywood to do, were some of the best choreographed hoops I've ever seen. The recreations of the smoke-filled arenas like the Great Western Forum and the Boston Garden were magical, pun intended. And the actors they got to portray Magic, Kareem, Larry Bird, and all of my heroes from that time were mwah. John C. Reilly was Jerry Bust. He was that good. Adrian Brody nailed Pat Riley's intensity. Quincy Isaiah smiled like magic. And Jerry West, well, I can see why the real Jerry West hates the show. Fictional Jerry West was a riot. He's like Bane and Harley Quinn, where every time he pops on the screen, you're in for a treat. It made for great television, but every outburst was another reason for the logo to dislike his portrayal. There were definitely some scenes that were so insane where I thought, wait, did that really happen? And I probably wasn't the only one, because they would sometimes insert a caption to say that, yeah, this really happened. But even when they took artistic liberties and played around with the timeline of events, I would gladly have kept watching Winning Time in this cast for as long as they wanted, or at least until the Lakers three-peat, because there's no way in hell they could get away with dramatizing the late Kobe Bryant's legal issues without pissing off a lot of people. It turns out the second season of Winning Time was living on borrowed time. The producers had heard from the higher-ups at HBO that they had to see the show growing its audience, or else there wouldn't be a third season. And that probably changed the calculus from telling the story one season at a time to shoehorning multiple campaigns into season 2. Oh, and they had to tell their story with a shorter number of episodes, 7 compared to season 1's 10. While season 1 was a mostly contained 10-episode affair that told the story of Magic's first season with the Lakers, the second season covered the next 4 years. So instead of getting to see Pat Riley slowly morph into our beloved slicked back Armani suit wearing rock star over the course of a few years, we got a few scenes scattered throughout the season. A superhero origin scene where he wets his hair, brings it back, and boom, he's the Lakers head coach. We know that Magic Johnson and his eventual wife Cookie don't actually get married until 1991, but those long droning phone call scenes felt like vibe-killing Mark Jackson post-ups. Jerry Bust's sons are portrayed as horny buffoons, with Ginny being the only one with any sense, and well, I'm not going to say whether that's fair or not because I don't want to get dole-limbed out of Staples Centers, but we could have used more screen time on them, causing Jeannie's eyes to roll. And Kareem, man, look, he's our beloved curmudgeon, and we will defend him to the ends of the earth. But even I know it took more than a little white boy handing him a Herbie Hancock album to close the distance between himself and the fan base. Look, I understand why a show about the 80s Lakers has to have a large, sprawling cast. Too many people would say, well, what about Chick Hearn? Low-key, Chick does not come out of this looking like $1 million, guys. Devon Nixon, who portrays his father Norm on the show, is one of the best parts of Winning Time. But we know Norm gets traded to the Clippers after the 1983 season, so his entire arc fell all for nothing. Larry Bird, who I may have hated with a passion as a kid, but now respect very much because he gives zero fucks, practically got a bottle episode in the season where screen time was already at a premium. And while the basketball scenes were great, they didn't give us enough. Hell, we barely see James Worthy, Byron Scott, and Bob McAdoo. The mistake the show makes is that they tried to be everything to everyone. If the show was just about the Bus family drama with the Lakers in the background, like how ATN and Waystar Royco were in Succession, it would have been better. If the show was about Magic and Kareem, the rest of the team, and no-name actors played the Bus family, that would have been more interesting. If the show was just Jerry West yelling at the clouds for an hour every Sunday for a month, I'd be down for that. Apologies to Mr. West. If the show was just Jeannie Buss's rise to power, give me 10 seasons of that. Winning Time, it tried to be more. And while I respect the effort, there wasn't enough playing time to go around and wrap it all together into one cohesive story. And to end the show with Magic sitting alone in the shower defeated by the 1984 Celtics? Come on, that hurts, man. I know there's the extra scene with Jerry and Jeannie after that tries to wrap everything up along with some title cards, but as a Laker fan, it's not enough. We're never going to get that scene of the Lakers sticking it to the Celtics a year later and then beating them again in the 87 with the junior skyhook. No Bird missing that shot that could have forced a Game 7 and seeing a young Bill Simmons by the tunnel look so dejected that he's going to write a 15-page essay with dozens of pop culture references. I know we won in real life. And yeah, I can just watch the highlights, but I want to beat the Celtics and make believe too. So if another streamer is out there, Netflix, Amazon, Peacock, anyone, please pick this one up and give us that Hollywood ending we deserve. But stop at June 2002. Yeah, I think you know why. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. But be sure to check out the Heat Check over on the Cousteau channel. And if you want to check out our Sneaker Closet series, it's on the socials at Cousteau, basically everywhere on the internet. All right. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9235. 9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.